Does that answer your question, Dex?
My question was if we were doing roll HP or average.
Oh, I just did the average. It's easier. And I wouldn't want people to be punished. It's also easier for me to predict for like challenge level and such. Um, so yeah, it's average. And for new players, what that means is you have hit dice based on your class, and your hit dice, like Relian's is the highest. It's 1d12, I think, because he's a barbarian. But everybody else is a little bit more conservative. Be like a d6 through d10. And every time you level, you get to either roll for HP or you just take the average of it plus your Constitution modifier. I do the average because it sucks if you roll a 1 and it gets out of hand if you keep rolling 12s or 10s.
Oh, this is Angel Man, by the way.
Just makes it easier to predict. So it's the average. I think it's rounded up.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I guess all dice are even.
Because
So
the minimum is a 1.
right.
So it's
3.5.
yeah.
And what hit dice also do is based on your level. I think it's level, right? You have a number of, or no, it's your I always forget this rule. The number of hit dice you have is based off of your level, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're second level, which you are now, you have 2 hit dice. What that means is during a short rest is an hour. So it's kind of like a lick your wounds type session. You hang out, you bandage stuff up, you stretch, you do yoga, and you can gain hit points back if you'd like. You
Yoga's
choose
a lot
how
of
many.
effort, man. You're
you
doing
choose.
it wrong.
You choose how many hit dice you want to roll, if you want to roll any, and the result of those, plus your Constitution modifier, each is how much hit points you gain back. And you have to decide how many dice you're gonna roll. You can't say I want to roll 1 and then I want to roll another one. Can't game it. So, but also know that your leveled HP was added to your pool, but it didn't. It's not like games where it potentially will like heal you up to your maximum HP. So some of you are still injured. Should reflect that on your character.
Yeah, like I had taken 4 damage, so instead of being at 21, I'm at 17.
Cool. Technical stuff aside, any questions about that? You can ask them in situation 2 later down the line. Not a big deal.
I guess I'm just gonna roll with it because I don't really know how that applies in just the gameplay, like when you decide to do one or the other.
Yeah, so a short rest is an hour.
No, I mean the rolling.
Oh yeah, the rolling, yeah. And then so you understand why you take a short rest, right? It's like you're kind of beat to shit. Some
The
some
health,
abil-
right?
yeah, and some abilities recharge too. It'll say like you can do once between each short rest or until you take a short rest. Spells are typically a long rest unless you're a warlock. But the trick is when you rest, I think it's one of the cooler things about like pen and paper RPGs is shit can happen to you while you rest. So you don't want to just say like, oh, we're on this side of the road, let's rest for 8 hours, because bad things could happen to you. They will happen. Okay, I'm gonna do a recap this session, and I'll probably do it next session too. But I've enjoyed having players do the recap, especially like if you can do it from the perspective of your character, because it gives you a chance to kind of allude to your backstory if you want to bring something up that there hasn't been an opportunity for, or it's a way to hint at me that you kind of want to push that aspect of your character's development based on what happened prior. In a Star Trek campaign I ran, it was easy because it was like, crew logs. Doesn't have to be that detailed, but so yeah, I'll do tonight's and the next one, just to give a framework. So you all met on a cold autumn evening at Porter Holdings, a tavern and way station for trade and adventuring, owned and operated by Drax Stoneturner. Drax has brought you all together. He has his reasons and has assigned you to your first task under his employ. Escort his wagon loaded with specialized mining and cave adventuring gear to the town of Arrowmore, a small, mostly gnomish mining village just to the north of the bustling city-state of Altora. You met with Drax and had a brief encounter with 3 of his aides, his 2 trusted guards, a tough-weathered female human with striking red auburn hair named Sonatan, and her counterpart, a natty-bearded human male, Abram, as well as Drax's trusted friend, Lorena Sparklebell, a female gnome with bright blue hair. You are to take the wagon on the less traveled route along Black Wolf Passage. As your journey approached the end of its first day, dusk upon you, an encounter on the road ensued. An ambush of goblins awaited you as Relian inspected the scene where he discovered Abram's body. Identified by his striking yellow silk scarf, he lay dying in the mud amongst 3 dead horses, all riddled with black-fletched arrows. The 4 goblins were felled in your first fight, synergies and tactics amongst the newly formed group beginning to forge. No members were mortally wounded, however, Abram, the trusted guard of Drax, was killed in the fight. The party now standing over the dead horses and Abram's corpse. The last bit of sun is disappearing over the horizon. The cold autumn air chills your face. The scent of dry fallen leaves mixes with the metallic smell of fresh blood. What are you all doing?
I want to check some of the goblins' bodies to see if there's any kind of note or hint or indication of why they were attacking Abram.
Yeah, sure. I'm not even gonna make you roll for it because they're just, you know exactly where they are. Amongst the dead, you find a pouch full of various buttons, 5 silver, and a number of pieces of dried mystery meat that smell very wrong. But one of the goblins has a tattoo with like 3 rough lines that begin on his forehead and travel down past his left eye towards his chin. It looks similar to a talon wound. Amongst his belongings, you find a soiled piece of paper. Upon it, written in blood, are a few words. They're kind of hard to make out because they're like half goblinoid, half just mess. But you can kind of make out the words dwarf and capture. And they're accompanied by a few crude drawings. One of a dwarf's head with an arrow that looks just like their similar fletched arrows pointing at a cave entrance. And right next to that is a large, woolly-looking goblin face.
Well, so I don't think our goblin friends like Drax. I'll show the drawing to the rest of the crew.
I take the paper and look at it front and back. It seems that we were meant to be victims and then sent to guess whatever they finished was meant to be sent or given to this location here. It seems like this guy's the leader.
Does this mean there's a cave nearby somewhere?
That's what it looks like.
I would start looking around at least. Not wandering off, but seeing if I can spot any trails, obvious footsteps of where they came and went, maybe.
I want to
Give
look
m-
at Abram's body, see if there's anything that he left.
Okay. So Hikage's checking out, looking for. Did you say tracks or?
Yeah.
And Serafina, you're looking at Abram's body.
Want
Okay.
to see if he left any notes or clues.
So Hikage, give me a investigation or perception, whichever, depending on how you're looking.
Give me a call it out when I roll.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
18.
Yeah, 18. You see everything. So you can kind of discern in the immediate area where Abram's body was or is and the horses that there was definitely a struggle. And upwards of 10 to 20 different tracks, most of which are goblin tracks. There's also drag marks and additional. It's hard to discern how many horses, but there's probably more than just the 3 that were felled and left behind. And there are those dragging tracks, as well as probably about 10 unique tracks going into the woods in the direction where the last standing 2 goblins seem to be headed in during your battle.
It might be best to see the distance between our location and where these goblins intended to go after they were done here, at least for the safety of us and our continued travels. After that, we can determine if it's safe to continue on our path or maybe to go off path and to continue our way. It might be good to have maybe scout, but I leave it up to the group.
I think our main goal is the cart, but one of our main goal givers lays dead at our feet. I think scouting out the cave wouldn't be a bad idea, but
Oh, I don't mean scout the cave.
scout ahead.
I just want to know if it's a concern for us to continue on the path with how close this entrance is to it. Based off of what you can assess, we might need to discontinue on the path and go off-road.
Do I see anything on Abram's body?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Dang it. Wait, help. Technical help.
Click the red squared.
Yeah, so next to perception, there's a number for your modifier. Just click on that number.
+2. It's in the tall column in the middle of the sheet.
Oh, there it is. Okay. There. 19.
Here's the big rolls. Could have used these last session.
For real.
Hello, hour-long combat encounter. So even without that roll, you notice that he absolutely put up a fight. Also, all of his valuables and equipment have been taken from his body. But with that 19, I'll say that you kind of respectfully turn his body just a bit to see what's laying underneath. And you see that he has one arm tucked underneath, and he's clutching, a fine leather map tube that is empty.
Is there any writing on the tube?
There's not. It's just very well crafted. There's like, some impressions and decorative seams and like a fine felt interior, but no
Can I
glimpse of
tell perhaps what race crafted it?
Yeah, give me a history history check, sure.
Jesus, I don't know how to read. I don't see history on my sheet.
Should
In
be
the
under
same
skills.
column. Yeah, same column.
Oh
There
god,
should be an
why don't they
alphabetical order.
alphabetize these things?
They are alphabetized.
The 2.
It was made by someone.
It was definitely made.
It
was
exists. Nice.
It's definitely made.
Does the road go northeast, and then like the tracks are more like northwest-ish? Or...
You haven't gone to inspect the direction that it's going. If you'd like to do that, then I can give you some more information.
So, I would climb back up on top of the rocks, gain a little bit of distance from the group, and see what I can see and hear in the distances.
So it's dark. The sun has now set. So most of you are standing in almost absolute darkness. I'll say that it's a pretty clear night. There's of the 3 moons, one of them is partially showing. I'll say that it's Oroth, which has like a dark gray surface. So it's casting kind of like this deep blue light, moonlight around the forest. Not enough to be able to see details, but enough to like see in, in shade.
And any sounds?
The strange thing for somebody with your background is that typically you would hear like the night life coming out, but you don't hear anything. You hear like the subtle breeze throwing branches and dry leaves being kicked up by the same breeze, but it's a strange stillness.
I find that uncomfortable.
Can I tell which direction the track, or it looked like the goblins were running to?
Yeah, because I'm just gonna carry over your 18. As you get closer to where the goblins fell, or just past them, you do notice that there is a not well-defined trail going into the forest.
This is a direction different from the road.
Correct. And the trail, it seems like it's been intentionally disguised. Like, you know, it doesn't connect with the road. There's like a break between the road and the trail beginning. That's kind of like right at the, like where the forest becomes thick again. Thicket.
Yeah, I'll rejoin the wagon then and pass that on to Athena.
Well, I, for one, do not feel comfortable getting closer to the cave.
Did Sarah share the fact that there was this empty map tube?
I have not, but I
Okay.
would like to share it with Dune and ask him to take a look.
I might know more about craftsmanship. But no, I will take a look at it. Can I roll history to see if I know anything more?
Yeah, and so I do let multiple checks of things occur.
Yeah, I didn't know
uh,
your policy on multiple characters rolling essentially the same check.
The challenge rating is going to go up, so like
Okay.
each time it's going to get harder.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm curious to see if either I've seen it before or because I do remember that Drax did have a map that he did not want to show us. So I want to see if I recognize that or can identify where it may have come from.
Okay.
Yeah, not great, but
it's actually it's surprising to you that you're not able to discern it. But I will give you that it's old but very well kept. And I'll say you can tell this just because of the materials, right? Because you do work in materials.
yeah,
So
I am proficient with leatherworking tools, so
yeah. So the craftsmanship of it is some of the highest leather craft you've seen, and it uses techniques that are alien to you, which you find highly fascinating.
Mhm.
But the origin is still beyond you.
Okay. So I'd relay that to Sarah, and I do also mention that I remember Drax saying that he had I think he said it was a map of the cave, or a map to some great treasure that he didn't want to share with us, and I'm wondering if this was the map, if Abram was transporting that, and it has been stolen.
I think if it was, and if it's been stolen, we need to get to Drax and get the cart to him as soon as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. Either that or if the goblins took it and ran it back to their cave, but that could be a suicide mission running into that.
Yeah, I think we need to let Drax know as soon as possible what's happened.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
How does the pathway look forward if we were to go off path with the cart? Does that need to be like a check that he needs to do, or is that something you can just say?
That or just how dense is the forest? Is it like we're gonna have to be felling trees to get a cart?
From what I understand, it was supposed to be a
anything
type
other
of
than this?
Ireland type of landscape with basically no vegetation, but it maybe a couple bushes, but maybe just basically flat, maybe a couple cliffs, like think Ireland or Scotland. Is that correct, DM?
Yeah, and for the most part, there are larger trees abound, so you can get the wagon through. You'll just have to go at a slow pace.
What about the explosives? Have we considered that? We hit a cliff.
Yeah, that's the thing, is if we run into a cliff, we're not going to be able to get the cart down the cliff.
I doubt there's going to be more caves we have to get by. This is probably the danger point. If we can get past here and haul ass.
I agree with Hikage.
So, for the interest of time and safety, do we want to have a scouting party on ahead that checks the path and then comes back and assures us that we should continue?
I would volunteer for the scouting party, given
What is your health at?
21.
Also, how close are we getting to we should really take a long rest unless we're going to push on and take exhaustion?
So
How many of us are injured right now with low health?
I have lost some health, but I wouldn't say that my life is in danger.
Yeah, I think everyone's okay.
Yeah, cuts and bruises. But if we started early in the morning and the sun's starting to set or has set,
We're gonna need to sleep.
yeah, we're going to need to sleep, or we're going to have to press on and take exhaustion levels, which is, it can be a dangerous choice to make.
Well, I say we make some progress and then we kind of make camp.
Kinda-
We don't want to be
Go
in the
to
same
the
place
point
where they
where we
plan to.
need to stop.
And we don't want to camp out in front of this cave.
Yeah, also, yeah, I don't want to camp out
That's
right
sketch.
here where we were literally just attacked.
Yeah, the night just hit. We should press on for at least another couple hours, I think.
Does that mean on road or do you off road?
On road.
Yeah, I think on road's going to be the safer bet.
Yeah, I agree.
Relian and I can keep ahead of the wagon a good,
Yeah.
150
Before you
yards.
guys
maybe.
run off, I stop Relian and say, hey, can you help me move these horses out of the road so we can get by? You and I have probably the best pull
got it.
capacity.
I help pull the horses off the
Yeah.
road.
That powerful build.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make y'all roll for that. The two of you are.
I think probably between both of us, we can pull close to 3,000 pounds.
Yeah. Just get rid of the horses and pull the wagon yourselves. Yeah, you're able to clear the horses. Are you doing anything specific with the carcasses?
Nah, I was thinking just move them out of the road so that we could get the cart by,
Oh, no
because
dinner.
they were kind of in the road. I mean, if you want to cut them up, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, not really.
I would cut out small pieces and store it away as part of my survival nature. And
The good bits.
and I would offer some to the group.
I politely decline.
I'll
Yeah,
take a piece.
thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, I'm
So you
good.
So Relian and I will take a forward position. And I've got. No, never mind.
Did any of us have dark vision?
I do.
I don't know.
I Hikage has dark vision as well.
Maybe.
It's on your character sheet.
Like, literally don't remember what races people are. Goliath locks it on in
Asimar?
Warforged. Oh, yeah, Asimar, yeah.
Do Loxodons have?
They do not.
Okay. So, a head count really quick of dark vision. Who has it? Who doesn't?
Hikage and I have it.
Okay. So Hokage, Billion are going to go off ahead. Just, I'm going to say, not out of sight, but just far enough so that they can kind of anticipate anything that is approaching or that we are approaching. I think we are going to need Hokage to be the dark vision of the front, and we're going to need Sarah to be the dark vision of the cart.
I can cast light on anything if anybody wants. We probably all have torches too.
Yeah, that's also yeah, all of us have torches. But are we trying to be somewhat stealthy?
Yeah, we probably don't want to light any torches right now. People have just been murdered.
Rillian and I probably are fine without.
Agreed.
All right, well let's start going. Are we fine with how the bodies have been examined?
Mhm.
Sarah, okay.
Yeah, because I looked at the goblins and she looked at.
All right, well then let's press forward.
So, are you leaving Abram's body?
I think we should
I
take
say we should
Abram's
take him.
body.
I agree. I think we should take it. We should wrap it up and put it on the cart.
Yeah, I'll say you find like you're able to consolidate some of the goods that are in the wagon and repurpose some sacks and liners for tools.
Is the cart in such a way that people can sit in it, or is it just so overflowing?
You can like sit in it. You could like climb up on top. It's a closed top wagon.
Okay.
That has a single door in the back, no side doors. I'll say that it has like a cast iron ladder on the left side, and there's probably room for like 2 people to cram themselves into the back of the wagon. I'll say that now that that Abram's in the back, that's not going to be a choice, or an option rather. So there's room for 2 up front with the reins, and as many as you can fit on the top, or holding on to the ladder on the side. Dune, you're pretty heavy, so
Yeah, I was figured I would be walking like alongside it.
All right.
the wagon doesn't move too quick, right? Especially like on a rough trail like this.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine on a rough trail it'd be moving that fast.
Yeah, I'll just walk alongside it.
I'm gonna break one of the goblin arrows in half and kind of stash it away too. Just keep it.
Because some of us weigh 360 pounds.
Can we ride the Loxodon?
Small creatures probably could. We don't have any gnomes or halflings.
Okay, let's go.
All right, let's head forward.
Ace, if you've been saying things, you might need to unplug and replug in your headset again.
Yeah, you haven't said anything.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So are you here? What are you doing, Ace?
Imagine Ace would just be doing. If we're moving, Ace do what he did before and sort of hang behind the back of the cart.
All right. Well, let's press forward. Ace is gonna do what he's done. Just be in the back of the cart, quiet.
So Hikage, did you cast light?
No.
And no torches.
I don't think anybody did, no.
Yeah, we're trying to be stealthy. Like, not attract attention near the area people were just murdered in.
Okay, so your speed's gonna be really slow, just for that fact, because it's pretty dark out, and dark vision doesn't mean you can like see in the dark. It means that you can see a little bit better in the dark. So like you see in absolute darkness as if it was dim light, which I believe makes it so you can see 10 feet in front of you. And in dim light, which it is now, you can kind of, I guess, like see normal light, so you'll be able to see like well into the distance. But if clouds move in, then it will be darkness. And
Yeah, I'm fine with the wagon crew picking up torches. I
All right.
right.
Well, let's just kind of come together and decide if it ends up getting foggy, then the group up front needs to basically reach the horses and we need to stay tighter.
okay,
Yep, makes sense to me.
All right. Well, let's head out.
okay. As you start back onto the trail, and Relian and Hikage, you're both looking together.
Looking and listening. So my vision may not be good, but my hearing would be adapted to hear creatures in the night.
Yeah, so we'll have I'm gonna have both of you make a joint perception check, and what that means is it's basically one of you will make a roll with advantage. Who you want to make the?
I would say Hikage makes the advantage roll. He's got higher perception. So,
See, where's the advantage button?
If you right click on the +6, you'll get like a fly out that you can select advantage and then click roll.
And you.
Oh, okay, and then you hit the roll button. I'll just roll twice because it didn't go.
Oh, sure. Yep. That's it.
And you want me to roll once?
No, the advantage that Hikage gets accounts for that.
Oh, okay.
14.
So you don't get too far down the path. I'll say about a quarter mile. And combination of Relian hearing a twig snap and signaling towards a bramble and bush line to the west of the trail. Hikage, you can see a small humanoid form in the bushes, about 100 feet from the road.
I'll relay that to Relian.
I would pull out my my warhammer and motion that we separate a little bit to kind of get some distance. Slowly walking backwards, actually. Being weary that last time this happened we were ambushed, so I would be looking to head backwards towards the group.
You know, report to the group.
What do you tell the group, Relian?
Well, I report to the group that we heard some sounds, and Hikage may have noticed more.
I'd keep eyes on it. What I saw while he reports back.
My intent, we should be very aware that there's something there. And I asked the group what they think their next step should be. We should be coming in fully prepared for whatever the situation might be. In my mind, we are about to be ambushed again.
Well, I don't want us to be ambushed again, but we need to keep on this route. So we are going to be confronting whatever we hit on the route. Did you leave Hikage on his own? Is he circling around the back of it, or is he just waiting?
I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hikage. You said you traveled back to the group with us.
No, I waited while you went back.
Okay.
And
Can you
I'm
tell
actually
me
gonna,
any visuals you got from it? Or can you describe the auditory clues that were given to you?
I did pass on to Relian that I thought I saw a small figure in one of the bushes.
Yeah. So I report that to the group.
I asked Relian if you can ask Hikage to cast light on an arrow and shoot it towards the creature. Maybe we can get some color or something.
Okay. Taking what I've learned, I know that we need to approach the noise. So I travel back to Hikage, informing him that Sarah said we should cast light on it. So I kind of jaunt over to the side to get a different angle on the bush as Hikage does his thing.
Yeah, I'm going to try and stealth up to maybe... Well, about 75 feet. Just get a little closer.
Okay, yep.
And
Yep. Yes, stealth.
Yes. Nine.
As excuse me. So Hikage, she, if I'm right, is the proper pronoun for Hikage. Starts making an attempt to sneak up, and I'll say right as that happens, like a drift of like clouds settles down on the space, making it difficult for you to see your way, and because of that fog drift, you trip on a stone that you didn't see, and don't quite fall, but it's enough to make your gear rattle on your person, and you don't break your eyes from where you're going after, right? And as soon as you do that, you can see that the form turns. It must have had its back, or at least partial its back to you. It turns and jumps out of the bush and screams and cowers on the ground. Oh, please don't! And you see a little goblin crouched on the ground, terrified.
Capture it.
It screamed. Oh wait, you do languages differently. Like he understood it screaming out. It wasn't speaking like weird goblin language.
Speaking common?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I do like common based on continent. It's that like unless you go really far away from like the major.
How far up are they? Did the wagon group hear this?
wagon group.
I mean, we're aware of it.
We hear what the
Everyone-
goblin just said.
You heard the voice. I'll say you
Okay.
didn't make out what it said.
We heard a noise. Okay.
Yeah. A voice. I'll say
voice,
you
okay.
knew that it was a voice. Yeah.
How far are we from it?
The cart. Relian and Hikage, keep me honest. How far up were you scouting from the wagon?
I just kind of sidestepped. I did not go any further. So I'm probably 30 to 40 feet away from the wagon.
Oh, so yeah, just like curious, like how far out you were scouting as the wagon was in motion. So 30 feet.
Right, but Hikage's an extra 25 feet closer.
Correct. So, Ace, it's about 130 feet from the wagon.
Alright.
That's where the sound came from.
I would kind of pause, curse a little, and then try to just keep stealthing forward, not necessarily as concerned with the goblin anymore, but with its surroundings. See if I can spot anything else moving nearby it while I move forward.
Cautiously approaching.
Yeah, still trying to stealth.
Okay.
I would take this time where his attention is on Hikage to try to sneak in from the back, get as close as I can without drawing attention.
Oh, so you're gonna double around.
Correct. So I had already separated from the one side, and Hikage had advanced. So I'm coming out on the blind side at this point.
Okay, yeah. So Relian, you give me a stealth check now.
Nine.
Classic. I'll say that yeah, the similar like sudden darkness. Now it's like for you it's like almost like absolute black.
Mm-hmm.
And the wagon, everyone on the wagon said it, were you all like prepared to like light your torches as soon as
I would like to cast light on the wagon.
on the whole wagon?
Mhm.
I think it has to be smaller than that.
Yeah, I think there's
Yeah.
a size limit, but like it
There
could
is a
be
size limit.
like on a
Horse.
object
On
on
one
the
of the
front or something.
boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 feet.
On the
didn't
reins.
even mention.
Cast light on the reins. Horse's
Oh, okay,
reins.
there you go. That'll work.
I always found the most convenient thing to do is just cast it on a coin.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter the size of it; it's the same amount of light.
Yeah, just to give us a little bit more speed so we can catch up to those guys up front.
Okay, so yeah, so the reins are lit. It could even just be like the portion of them that are in hand. And so the darkness kind of like slows and makes you not as stealthy, Relian, as you're approaching. But there's no other sign of life besides this cowering goblin, and they seem to be just heads down, absolutely terrified. To your interpretation, and I'll say, Hikage, you are able to get up to the goblin without it looking up, and you hear its mutterings of, "I saw what you did! I saw what you did! Bad people! Killed my friends!"
I will keep my head up, looking around, sort of, he's no longer my concern, but reply that your friends attacked us first.
Is this goblin young?
You'll have to get closer to tell.
Right. I come down. After getting the cart close enough to the
Yeah, we need to all move
to
closer.
the goblin and where he was being held, I hop down from the cart and I approach the goblin to assess him.
I'll move past him and just try to keep an eye out ahead and to the sides.
So like yeah, like general goblin physiology is pretty well known. They're a common race amongst these parts. They don't live very long, so all of them are fairly young. But in regards to like whether it's like an adolescent in those years, yeah, it's like a late adolescent.
All right. I approach him with the technique of good cop. Peace, young goblin. We were only defending ourselves. We did not come out to hurt goblins such as yourself.
And it's a male goblin, you can tell at this point. Kind of lifts its head a little bit and says, okay. But kind of like quickly side glances at the rest. Are the rest of you coming up to the scene, or who's staying at the wagon?
I'm gonna stay back with the wagon.
I'm gonna stay at the wagon.
Is
I'm gonna walk
Hikage
up
still
towards
here?
I'm gonna walk up towards the goblin.
Why do I feel like Sarah's gonna be the bad cop to Athena's good cop?
Because I want in his head.
I maintained my distance once the group approached, so I'm still behind. Just kind of waiting.
Okay.
Is Hikage still with us, or is he still scouting
I'm like
in the brush?
10 feet past it by now. Kind of left it to you guys, but I'm pretty nearby.
All right. I look to Hikage and I nod my head out into the forest and give him a look, asking him to kind of do a perimeter check while we assess this goblin here. I look and see if Aurelian is intimidating him, and I kind of wave him back a bit. And I look to Sarah and I kind of nod at her to come up with me. I look back at the goblin and I ask, "Are you here by yourself?"
Now, I was about to run home, and I heard you on the trail. So I hid in that bush. Boss is gonna be so mad at me, and he starts like smacking his head. I'm in big trouble. Didn't do my job.
What was that job, young one?
To kill you. They got the dwarf and that other human. That one, the body down there, that one put on a big fight. But we killed him. We got him good. Oh, but not that I would do that to you. And he checks himself really quickly. Anyways, can I go now? He like opens his mouth and he's just got these jagged, pointy, like they almost look like maybe chiseled teeth.
Your boss, you say? Did he ask for someone particular?
Yeah. Well,
What was that?
she's vicious. Her name's Gonk. She's not very nice. But she protects us.
What does Gonk want so badly from us?
She got it. Not from you. That little stuck-up dwarf. It was orders.
So she just wanted the life of the dwarf.
Well, someone else wants the dwarf. We're just keeping him.
Who wants the dwarf?
He stops giving information.
Speak, you little monster. I want to cast Dissonant Whispers on him.
Okay, do it. Are you gonna cast Dissonant Whispers on it?
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely gonna kill this goblin.
Oh no.
Come on, you little monster. Who sent you?
Who sent you?
You cast it?
On me.
14.
Yeah, he has to make a wisdom saving throw.
The
All right.
demon.
Give me a second. Where's my dice?
She rolled a 14.
Oh, the goblin has to make a saving throw. Oh, and that didn't show up. 12 plus -1. It doesn't save. Go ahead and roll damage. 3d6.
That's what the 14 was.
Oh, that's what the 14 was?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you watch as the goblin's pupils roll back in its head, and like just the color fades from its skin, and it falls dead in front of you.
Oh, god damn it.
Pick it
Just
up and take
great.
it with us. Pick it up and take it with us.
You say you still have a use for this thing?
Yeah, we'll take it to its keeper.
I storm forward, overhearing
What is-
that they must have been referring to Drax. And I assume that he's in danger. And I get very intense. That we must pursue this.
I could have kept going on him. I wasn't done with him.
He wasn't going to talk.
Oh, I beg to differ. He had a lot more information to give. We would have found a way. I would have found a way. No matter, he's dead. Take his body.
So, are we pushing on towards Aramore to meet up with a dwarf that's already been kidnapped?
No, I think we need to find this. What's her name? What's her name?
Conk.
If we push forward with Gonk, that means going into that goblin tunnel. That means putting our cart at risk. Is this
We don't-
something you guys want to be doing?
We don't know where she is. We know she commands them, but we don't know where she is.
Drax,
I think we need to keep going to the city.
Drax may be in trouble, and the best lead that we have is this map, is this cave that we...
The cave, the map with the cave with the woolly goblin. We don't even know if this Gonk is a goblin.
We know that there was two of them. There was Abram and a dwarf, and that they took the dwarf. We must pursue this.
The matters of Drax and his men is not our concern. What is our concern and what Drax is expecting us to do is to complete this shipment.
To him, we are to deliver the cart to Drax.
Are you saying that Drax is the one that's captured? We don't
Sounded like
necessarily
it.
know that. Our job, the one he entrusted us with, the one he's expecting us to do, is to complete this shipment, not to go on a rescue mission. He has men for that.
His men are dead.
You don't know that's all of his men.
I'd be willing to make a pretty good guess that Abram wasn't out here walking alone.
How many horses did we find dead on the road before we were ambushed?
3.
3.
No way would Drax just come on this road by himself with just 2 men on a very dangerous road that his guards himself said were very dangerous.
His best bodyguards, his female bodyguard, his male bodyguard.
There was a lot more tracks going off into that direction of that cave too. Some of them looked like horse.
Some of them look like what?
Horse tracks.
So more horses. If it were up to me, I would continue down the path and get this delivered. That's what he paid us to do. It's what he's expecting us to do. He's not expecting us to go on a rescue mission.
It's getting late. We should look for a spot for camp. We should send a party to investigate the cave without confrontation, just to look, report
agree.
back, and make a plan for the morning.
Let's go forward. This is obviously a spot where the goblins were still checking the pathway. Let's go forward a little bit farther, and once we have, we'll make camp. From there, as we are making camp, Hikage and Rillian will go do a wide perimeter check and check for any suspicious-looking caves.
We should make camp off path, deep off path.
I agree. But we still need to make some distance between where we found this goblin and where we intend to stay. And I say we go on the road a little bit farther and then go off road.
Okay, so you all are gonna make camp for the evening.
Yeah.
And the intent is to find someplace safe off the road.
Yeah. I say we travel just maybe like a little while down the road and then go off road. I want to distance myself between us and where we found this goblin, this last remaining goblin.
That we know of.
Yes.
And you know that that trail was going to the west, so you could even, if you're trying to be discreet, I'll interpret that as like going off the other side of the road to the east. Like the road's going fairly north and south at this point. So I'll say that you, after another hour or so, on trail, you're able to find like a decent pull-off point that won't threaten the wagon and the horses. And does somebody want to do a... This one's hard. Like how to hide a cart.
Deception.
Is that survival?
At this level? A cart?
Oh, deception's like it's a charisma thing, so it's not deception. It would either be sleight of hand or stealth.
That's not me.
On a cart?
I've got +1 in each. I can.
Wait.
And somebody can
I
help.
can help stealth the cart.
I cast guidance for this. I mean, technically, it's on any skill check.
Yeah, you can cast guidance.
Okay.
What's that mean?
Yeah, how
You
does
can add an
guidance work
extra D4 to your skill check.
So
I mean, I have sleight of hand and stealth.
I don't know. This might actually doesn't sound like it should. Maybe survival actually would be the
Could be
best.
the best. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm-
Survival.
Wisdom.
I'm proficient in survival. Do you want me to roll for that then?
What's
What do
your
you
wisdom?
say? What do you say to the group to convince them that you should be in
One.
charge of hiding the wagon? Brilliant.
I want Relian to come with me to the cave rather than hanging out here.
Who else has decent survival?
Well, survival would be intact then too. So I would say, you guys need to make camp, hide the carts, be as quiet as possible. Hikage and I are going off to look for this cave, and then we would start heading out as they do whatever. Or at least I would start off in that direction, looking back for Hikage.
I think Hikage came up to Relian and was trying to convince you to go with her. Right, Hikage?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about you, Ace? What's your survival wisdom at?
Moderate.
Yeah, we're both about the same.
All right. Why don't you two help with the carts while I help make camp, and Hikage and William go out and do a wide perimeter check, checking for suspicious-looking caves. I don't know if you guys working together means just one of you needs to do it and the other one's just RP helping.
I'll roll for it. I'll roll survival for the cart.
Go ahead and click it twice then. You're going to do advantage.
Damn.
And, I'll also cast guidance, so you can add a D4 to
Oh yeah, and to do
your
that,
20. There's no way to actually like show it in the game log because it's kind of a passive buff.
yeah, we just have to call it out. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Same way we would do it at a table.
So Sarah, you can also roll another D4.
D4.
Yeah.
Damn.
Dang.
with a measly 24, nobody's fighting that wagon. Like, I'm gonna say that who would be the most remiss? Maybe Ace. Maybe Ace, you're kind of like hanging back. You know, you're watching where you all left the road. And you're kind of doing like some double backs, just to make sure you aren't being followed. And at some point, you come back to the camp, and you have to take a double take to see that like the wagon's been kind of like pushed into this little enclave of bramble and like tree fell in between, like just barely fit, like in a mid-century garage that is like, how the hell did you put a car in one of these things?
I'm gonna walk away pretty proud of myself and be like, my dad taught me well.
And I want to pass on to the group too before we leave that if we get in like big trouble, I will try to shoot a lit arrow into the sky. So to pay attention to that.
All right.
And Hikage invented the signal flare. Okay, so it only took till the second session to split the party.
Woo! Go team.
I think this is a proper use of splitting the party. So Relian and Hikage, it'll take you about. So you're on the road for like an additional hour and a half to 2 hours from the point of combat. But since it's just the two of you on foot, I imagine, are you moving at a fast pace or normal pace or a slow pace?
I think we'd go fast to the point of combat, or like just before it, and then slow down as we move down that trail we found. Try to stealth our way up that, sort of off of it a ways, but like, keep eyes on the trail.
Okay. So fast pace. Say that you get to that site within an hour. And since you're looking along the way, why don't you both give me a collective perception check? Somebody with advantage, or you both can roll independently.
I rolled 8. He rolled 13.
Oh, I didn't see yours. Okay, 13 and 8. You don't notice anything along the way. And you are quickly able to find the path that Hikage discovered before. And then what pace are you taking along that path? And how are you approaching?
I would say we slow down quite a bit.
A normal pace.
Yes, again, I would stick near Hikage. My warhammer in hand, kind of crouched near the tree line, near the bush line, as we go along this path, keeping an ear open, knowing that I can't see very well.
Yeah, I'd try to be stealthing the whole time. Not walking actually on the trail, but trying not to move through direct brush and stuff as much as possible.
Okay, both of you give me stealth, and then I'm gonna go back to the rest of the camp and see what everybody else is doing while this is happening.
25 and 8.
Duly noted. All right, campers, what are you doing? Camping? S'mores?
I'm eating some meat.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. So, did we start a fire?
Yeah, we need to start a fire.
I'm assessing Descartes to make sure everything's in order, nothing's broken or weakened. And then I make my way to whatever camp that Sarah and Ace are putting together.
Yeah, I'll kind of also be checking the cart. I mean, craftsmanship isn't one of my areas of expertise, but how different from smithing can it be, really?
Quite.
Yeah, no, it's extremely different.
Someone would. Do we need to worry about the horses?
I imagine we probably would have just tied them up.
Okay.
Put a bag
Probably
of
feed
feed.
them.
Yeah, and feed them. But I mean, they're trained workhorses, so like tying them up, unless something spooks them, they won't run.
Yeah, and they're Drax's horses, so they've probably seen a little bit of combat too. They're the chillest of chill horses.
So what do we need to do to get the fire going?
You just say you get a fire going. I'm just gonna assume that you're all adventurers and you can establish a fire that has like a low smoke profile. you find enough dry wood. There hasn't been a big rain recently. You're able to find dry wood, so you're not throwing up a lot of like moisture, smoke, or anything. So, but you know there is a chance like you can't hide the smell of fire, right? The crackle of wood can be heard, so it's not the most stealthy thing, but you know it's going to help you with light and warmth, and heating up food and other provisions as necessary.
So we can all gather at the fire for a short rest.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it depending. Like if you want to spend 8 hours at least in camp, let me know, and then you can get a long rest.
Can I just use my Song of Rest to heal Dune?
Well, your Song of Rest affects everybody, I believe, in the party.
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Even
Yeah,
if
it's
they're
en-
not with us?
Only the people
No,
with
it's
you. versus-
anyone using like
Yeah.
taking advantage of a
But
short
I think
rest,
he's
like
the
using
only
hit
one
dice.
he's the only one that's injured.
Yeah, but we're probably getting ready to do a long rest, so like we should actually get like a night's sleep.
Okay. Let's sleep.
And you know, like, there's 4 of you. Ace, do you need to sleep? You like an
Kind of.
An
Think they
elf?
sleep.
Well, like elves only have to like meditate for 4 hours. I don't know.
So, I believe the intended mechanic is that you still have to take rest, but you don't like actually go to sleep during the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One-
Can be like our we can watch.
Yeah, when I've had like either played a Warforged or played in a party with a Warforged, the way it was interpreted was
Is that like you
essentially
still?
he can be watching. He just
Yeah.
can't be doing anything.
I think the intended
Sentinel.
mechanic is like you can still like take fatigue if you don't rest. It's just you don't have to sleep. You can be doing what the guide says is light activity.
yeah. It says 6 hours, inactive, motionless. You appear inert, but you're not unconscious. You can see and hear something. Okay, that makes
But it's night, so I can't see shit anyways.
Yeah.
It's like a cat nap.
sense. Yeah. 6 hours though, so instead of the typical 8. Okay, yeah. So you're all doing a long rest, but you know you can rotate watch. And who's gonna start watch while everybody else rests?
I can start watch.
Okay, give me a perception check.
Ace is on permanent watch.
Oh. Well, then maybe Ace can just do permanent watch.
You could do that because he can hear too. So
Maybe that can be something we can do then. How do you feel about that, Ace?
It's fine with me.
Do
Alright.
I feel?
I don't know. They haven't really talked or done anything.
I don't think Warforged feel.
Do they, like, have a personality?
None that I've met.
I was about to ask what's Ace's expression right now. Is it-
Probably blank at the moment.
As you're hearing your compatriots discuss whether or not you feel.
How much do we trust a Warforged if they seem to react only on order instead of instinct?
Safe.
Well, so seeing somebody of so like I mean Warforged is kind of like that's an Eberron specific title, like a
Technically,
seem-
it's just a construct.
yes, seemingly sentient or partially sentient
Sentient,
construct.
so he should have a personality.
Maybe.
Improve your sentient.
Well, Ace?
significant.
What are you?
A construct? What are you?
I'm trying to, like, what is your role? Like, do you just need people to tell you to do things, or do you, like, react to things? Like, this is kind of just me just figuring this out, like, as a first D&D thing, but I'm just, like, I don't know if this is something we need to worry about in terms of, like, trusting them to react well in certain situations, or if he's just a computer.
I mean,
Okay,
I think
so
your character might be concerned about that.
so yeah, so in this world there are like constructs are abound.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's probably varying levels of sophistication.
Yeah, exactly. So I was gonna say, like with your background specifically, you've probably seen some fairly sophisticated things, but I'm gonna say on the continent of Jehedi, there's you've never seen something this sophisticated.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ace is probably like one of the most sophisticated constructs you've seen, especially in this area.
In what way? Just in battle?
That he's acting upon his own volition.
I
Like most constructs that you see have like a command protocol.
yeah,
Right?
I think it would be apparent that you haven't noticed anyone give any orders to Ace, and Ace has just been acting.
I'm just gonna sit back and eat my popcorn while Athena asks Ace more questions
Maybe I can do an
I'm just
intimidation
watching too
check.
because this
because
is
I'm interested.
fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I've observed Ace acting on his own.
I turn to the group and ask how safe they feel if he were to be on 24-hour watch for the night.
I'm fine with it. He seems more than capable.
I'm fine with it too. I mean, he's been watching the back since we started this journey. Nobody thought to watch the back, so he's literally been watching our backs.
Yeah, well, nothing's happened in the back.
Uh, once Dune mentions that he's okay with it, Ace turns to him and said, How do you know Lorena? I saw you
Uh,
talking to her.
I met her on my way off of the brain fart. When I was leaving Iktan, I ran into her and she kind of told me about Drax and got me onto an airship over to his ass. And we talked on the way. I was always kind of a tinkerer and smith, and she kind of introduced me into artificing, and I fell in love with it. So I've decided to take that route, and so I kind of just met her by chance in Mongar over in Iktan when I was leaving, and saw her again when we were in the bar.
Uh, did she say anything about me? I noticed her looking at me while conversing with you.
Uh, nah, not in particular. Not that I remember her saying anyway. I mean, being an artificer, she's probably amazed just at your existence. I mean, seen constructs before, but nothing like you.
Oh, I only asked because I've been working with her for the past few weeks.
Uh, timing wise, question to the
That's
Gray.
also a question I had.
Timing wise, was me coming over to Yazas before or after he would have been working with her?
Good question. Let's say. Well, I'll ask Ace. How long do you think you spent, um, with her and Drax?
I figure it was probably like 5 or 6 weeks. It could stand to reason that she left at some point during that time and came back.
Okay, I've got an idea. Okay, so yeah, during that 5 or 6 weeks, she was gone for 2 of them, and which was the time period in the middle of those 5 to 6 weeks that she was doing something in Iktan, and you're not aware of what she was doing. Just that she had to leave. And I'll also say that like during that time, like you weren't fully aware, so it's blurry maybe, right? That like as like repairs and try not to spill much, but like as things were happening, it's a little blurry to you. But yeah, during 2 weeks of those 6, we'll say that she was gone and she was doing something in Niktan. But she didn't mention anything to you, Dune, about either what she was doing, other than like she was doing research.
Yeah, and I think that's what you said in the DM to me, is that she was doing research, and she suggested that I come to Yazas to meet Drax.
As they continue their conversation, I bring out my bedroll and I lie back after making sure everything is in my pack and I still have my precious cargo. I lay back and relax. I close my eyes, but I listen to their conversation.
I'll say as you lay on your bedroll and you look up to the sky, like a momentary drift opens up where you can kind of see the starlight bleeding through, and being in a place that you're not used to, and that you're still getting familiar with not being at home, it brings you a bit of comfort just seeing that the stars are where they're supposed to be.
Still the same stars.
For now. I'm gonna cook some of that horse meat, curl up next to a hot rock, and eat it while I fall asleep.
Pretty cool. Transitioning back to the scouts, and then and we can take a little break before we do that.
Mhm.
And I think Malk, you might need to take off.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's getting captured.
With Relion's on his own out here.
In the dark.
Oh, good.
You can all of a sudden you can totally tell that Hikage is being controlled by a bot.
Starts T-posing and just gliding around.
Bumping into a wall right at a corner. Come on, just go around the corner. All right, we'll come back in like 5 to 10. Take your time.
Yep.
Quick break.
Yep.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Don't kill me.
Bye.
Don't kill
My
me.
Malk will sacrifice you first.
We won't
Don't kill me.
kill you. We just won't bring you along.
We just use him as bait. Her. Use her as bait.
No, we
Too
won't
cute.
kill you. We just won't not let you die. Something else will kill you.
Wait, we can't let the healer die.
Yeah, no, we can't let him die. She's actually very important to the party.
Did me and Mount totally ruin your capture grid, Natty?
No, I'll just adjust it for this last bit. Not a huge ordeal.
I've done capture stuff, yeah, and it sucks that you have to like isolate the Discord grid instead of like just giving them independent channels.
I wish that, yeah, I wish I knew how that worked, because like I see it on, the big time people, and they just got like little cameras anywhere on the screen. I wonder if I could just like pop every little one out and do it differently, but different battle, different day.
Right.
Actually, because of the music bot, it didn't mess up the labels too much.
Oh, cool.
Can you believe the nerve of my spouse? Mr. Miller Lite, drinking my cold snacks. I'm down to 5. I had 18. This is my favorite summer beer. What a fucker.
Rude.
Rude.
I'm like, I have 5 left. Stay out. He's like, you have 3 left. I'm like, no. I have 5 cold snacks. They're all mine.
I often get asked what my favorite kind of beer is, and my favorite answer is always going to be free. And then my second favorite kind of beer is cold. That's it. That's where I draw the line.
Did you answer it with cheese for the first one?
Free.
Free.
Oh, free, not brie.
No. No. Favorite kind of beer is free beer. Second favorite kind of beer is cold.
So my the best beer I've ever had in my life. Me and a buddy went mountain biking at this local. It's called a mountain, but it's more of a hill. Tiger Mountain, and I brought like one tall water bottle. It was enough for like the ride, but it wasn't enough because it was like 95 degrees out and it was an exposed ride. And you basically you switch back up to the top of the mountain and you come down. And my buddy didn't bring any water, and so I graciously shared my not enough water with him because that's what you do for your best friend. And by the time we got back to his car, like we were dying of thirst. We also like smoked a couple bowls on the way up and shit, so we had severe cotton mouth, and I ate shit on the way down, so I had like a super bloody leg that was just horrendous and full of dirt. When we get back to his car, I was like, Mike, you better have something in your car to drink. He's like, I don't know. And he opens up his trunk. It's like an old like Land Rover, and he like reaches under the seats, and he finds two like super sun hot MGDs, tall boys, and the only food he had was like a bag of like stale beef jerky. That was the best beef jerky I've ever had, and the best beer I've ever had because of the context. It wasn't cold beer, but I do prefer cold beer.
I guess he wasn't a scout, huh? Not prepared.
This guy's never prepared. You know, we all have the friend that's never prepared.
Who's missing?
Not everyone.
Hokage.
Everybody back?
Well,
Kaya's
yeah,
gone for the
but
night.
I know. It's just
Athena, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sweet.
so. Just logistically, are we? Are you taking over Hokage's role?
For RP stuff, yeah.
Okay. So he's not just disappearing. Like I'm not on my own in this environment now.
No, I
He
try to shy away from that situation. The reason why I proposed the rule of scheduling that everybody agreed with is because I can only handle like RPing one person's character per session on top of the NPCs and everything. So and to do it justice. And then for combat, I'll have you all, if there is combat, I'll have you all control her actions. Because otherwise she runs into a corner and hides.
Conflict of interest.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also why I never play a character in my own camp. I get to be all the other characters anyways. Why would I want to be steal your glory? Okay. So we return to our scouts, moving up a rough-hewn trail. Kind of takes some like bobs and weaves through the forest. Comes to a couple of openings. You have to cross a couple of creeks. But eventually it opens. And with those stealth rolls, you appear to be moving unnoticed. But Relian, with passive perception, you get the whiff of fire. But like, yeah, just fire. You don't see anything because you can't really see anything. And that happens like kind of right as you get to like a clearing where the creeks have kind of become, you've noticed that they've all kind of led up. They're like branches of like a larger stream, not necessarily like a river, but like a, like a 10-foot wide stream that runs through this like open valley that's probably like the size of like half a football field. It's kind of surrounded by. It's like in a a convex state where there's like trees that kind of go up because like the creek kind of goes through that, um, into the center of that geography. And Hikage is like still like creeping up because she doesn't notice.
So I notice the creek and the slope, but I don't notice the cave yet. Correctly.
Correct. Yeah.
I travel at the top of the slope on the side that I am, keeping my eyes ahead, knowing that I can't see very well, and that is the. You said there's a creek. Is it a fast flowing creek? Is it loud?
It's pretty loud. Yeah. It's not like it's not rushing down like a terrible incline, but it's definitely like rolling over rocks. So it has a murmur to it. It definitely hides like passive sound.
And we lost the trail of the feet, or the footsteps.
Yeah, the footsteps kind of dispersed to a point, and it seems like the valley seems to be of use equally. Like you see like footsteps branching off, and you can't really tell if they're like independent trails. I don't know if you spend a lot of time on trails, but like you can't tell if it's like runoff forms or if they're actually trails themselves. But it kind of just because it's kind of like a marshy valley. Uh, so like there's footsteps abound, and they kind of go through these like random seemingly naturally formed trails that like are riddled throughout the valley. Maybe meadow is like a better term.
Do I notice large hills or mountains anywhere?
No. And I guess you would make out like mountain silhouettes in the night sky, but to the north there's no mountains. Only when you turn to your south you see the mountains that you hail from.
I look back at Hikage with a disconcerting look, knowing I can't see anything, and I speak to Hikage. Vision dark, can't see very well. Unsure of the path that we should take. We must
She
find
says-
tracks.
She suggests maybe we should follow the water to the top of the valley. She points up, kind of like as far as she can see.
I squint my eyes, not being able to see very well. Agree, but I have to follow. So at this point, I agree to follow Hikage.
Okay. She finds her way close to the creek and crosses to the I guess let's say no, you are on the eastern, or sorry, the northern side of the creek. You're kind of heading westward at this point, and you're on the north side of the creek. And it's kind of like there's like a thicket of trees and bramble that kind of come to the creek line. And as you're going along there, the smell of that smoke is very close by, probably within 35 feet or so. And it seems to be coming from through the thicket.
Knowing that we're close, I slow down. My goal isn't to engage, it's to investigate. So using the thicket as cover, I try to approach 10 feet at a time until I can make out sounds in the distance.
Okay. I'm gonna have you do a fresh stealth check, and I'm gonna roll for two.
My stealth checks are super on point today. I roll a 4.
Oh shit. Okay.
Can you not see these, or something I should be rolling different?
No, I can see it.
Okay.
I just have to switch back and forth. I can't
Yeah.
afford to keep it up at all
No
times.
worries.
I should probably just say fuck this minimalist bullshit and just grab a second monitor again.
Just get an iPad for that.
Say an iPad, or even like I know Lenovo, among probably some others, make portable monitors. Like it just uses a USB-C connection that you can convert to DisplayPort.
Yeah, I have
And it
like
just-
the like I don't know if this is gonna come in focus, but like the app is really good for that because I can have the game log. I just forget because it also has all of your character sheets with all of your passive values and your HP.
But if you wanted that option for an extra monitor, just like a small one, you could just get like a 13-inch portable monitor.
That's totally true. Yeah. Okay, so a 4. Not used to the lowlands. Like you're kind of out of your element. It's a little warmer than you like it to be. And as you're pushing through the thicket, you trip up on a species of plant that doesn't exist at the altitude that you live at, and so it catches you off guard, and you trip, and fall into the bushes in front of you, and make a loud thump, and Hikage kind of holds back and like hugs a tree, and is not, and kind of pulls her bow at the ready, realizing the air. And I'm gonna say it's like at your last 10 feet from the location, because you're about 30 feet away, so the third interval. And you fall just outside on the other side of the thicket. And there's luckily no sign of any humanoids or anybody, but you do see a smoldering fire that probably went out about, or hasn't had a log added to it in about 30 minutes. But there is a stack of wood and kindling nearby, and an axe, and some like logs have been moved into place around this fire. That's in like kind of like a little bit of a clearing that hugs a cliff face, and you can see just around the corner of the thicket, through alongside the cliff face, where the creek is coming out of a cave mouth.
Oh, so we spotted the cave. Okay. And we just made the loud sound. There are there trees in this thicket near where I fell?
Yes.
All right. I would like to climb the tree. Hiding.
Okay. Oh, to hide?
Hide and vantage, but my intent is to become less visible Please don't make me roll another stealth check.
I'm not gonna make.
Thank God. I rolled like a 4 and a 2.
You're just so huge.
You're bound to get a crit next. Yeah, digital dice. You can't like throw them away and get new ones.
And change the
No
color.
dice fail.
Yeah, smash them against the wall. Go play handball with your d20. Yeah, I'll just say you're able to get up into a tree. It gives you like a good line of sight to the area too. I'll say that you're able to climb kind of like they're like lower deciduous trees. So you're able to kind of get up into a position to be able to see out and down into the meadow / valley, and where the creek runs down to where you came from, and you can also see the cave. And are you looking for something specific?
No, I made a large sound. I'm keeping my eye on the cave mount, and basically for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm waiting for any activity to see if I was noticed.
Okay, 5 minutes go by. Nothing. 10 minutes go by. Nothing. At the 25-minute marker, you see 2 wolves come out of the cave, and they do a run down the valley, and they're out for like 5 minutes, and you can tell they're doing like a train circuit. And I'll say, because you're up in the tree and with the smoke that you're hidden at the time, and you hear a whistle, like a wooden whistle, not like a vocal whistle, emanate from the cave, and the 2 wolves go running back into the cave, out of sight.
I hop down, find Hokage, and say, definitely activity over here. Unsafe to continue further. Let's report back to the group. Let them know what we found. Continue in the morning.
Okay. Are you cool fast forwarding? I
Yeah.
don't like to do time lapses, but if you're cool,
Yes. Assuming we make it back to camp safely, that's fine.
Yeah. Because you just made the trek, I'm going to say that you're able to follow all your learnings back to the camp safely. Actually, just throw a d20 for me. Let's see. Okay. You make it back to the camp. And I'll do this in the perspective of Ace. So Ace, you're just getting bored. Actually, Ace, you throw a d20 too. Let's see what happens.
Oh, god damn. Turned hardware acceleration off. I gotta turn it back on.
You both rolled 9s. Probability. Universe is chaos. Proof. Nine's fine. As the night is lumbering on, and you're, at your minimal state, You get motion detection. Say like a couple hours before sunrise, and you see Hikage and Relian sauntering up or sneakily moving up into camp. Relian, do you say anything? You just see like that the camp is dead quiet. The fire is kept at a minimal blaze, minimal smoke, and you just see Ace. Because I guess you haven't seen this, so you see like this construct just in this dead still sit. Does Ace like assume a specific position when he does this, or
I imagine he's just like sort of propped up against a tree.
like in like kind of like a lean, or like
Yeah,
a back?
with
Yeah.
his like his leg straight out.
Yeah, I'll say that you don't see it at first because you like as you approach the camp, you guys kind of you and Hikage do like a circuit, I imagine, just to make sure everything's fine. And you don't account for Ace at first, but then when you go to look at the wagon, you see that like Ace is propped up against a tree nearby, and it catches you off guard. The moment.
It's a tough one. Walking up to the camp, I get caught off guard just by my lack of vision and the fact that he runs silently. Upon noticing him, I take a wide path around him back to the campsite, not losing sight of him the entire time.
Yeah, because for you it freaks you out, right? Because you're used to like
Noise.
being able to hear things breathe, and
Yep.
and
It's
sense
unnatural.
them. Yeah. Shall we say that everybody's waking up? Nothing happened over the night. Oatmeal and coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And horse meat.
And
We
horse
wake up
meat.
and start picking up camp.
I ate the cold horse meat off the rock in front of me.
Oh my god.
I'll leave that behind.
As a lone fly just goes. Bzzz.
So wait, how
Have
much
my meat.
how much
Fine.
time has passed between Relian falling asleep and morning?
It felt like hours, but it was probably like 20 minutes. You know the feeling.
Yep. Okay. So as the group wakes up and starts to clean up camp, I set off on some small game.
Okay.
Not too far from camp.
Let's see if you're successful or not. We should find a random table.
Is that survival?
Yeah, let's do a survival check.
18.
Yeah, what do you come back with?
Rabbit.
Come back with 3 hairs. You see like this
Like,
Goliath and they're like they look
Like
so
teeny
tiny.
tiny.
Like yeah.
did you get yourself a snack?
Yes. Breakfast.
Feel free to describe what you saw or just say you relay everything you saw to the group.
Yes, Relian, what did you see? What did you and Hikage see on your perimeter check?
Okay, I approach the fire. I set up my rotating, and I'm sitting there rotating the 3 hairs that I caught along it. I described the path that we took. We got back. We sat. We walked along the trail. We found the footsteps. We came across this valley. Trees sloped across it. Open, grassy knoll. We approached. strange plants caused big noise. I climbed up into a tree. Wolves ran from the cave. They seem smart. These aren't like normal wolves. They seemed controlled. They ran back to the cave. After a whistle, a strange, mechanical, forced whistle sound. At that point, we headed back here to report.
You're saying that they were not usual wolves. Do you mean domesticated or do you mean conscious?
Wolves hunt in packs. These two seem to follow a different pattern. These aren't like the wolves in my mountains.
Well, it's good that you found it. Now we know the direction we want to avoid as we continue on our way. I, for one, don't want to go anywhere near it, and I want to continue on the objective that our boss has given us.
Did Hikage come back with him? With Raylan? Raelian?
Relian.
Rulian?
Relian.
Relian.
Ragelian.
Ragelian.
That's right.
I just asked Hikage if she noticed anything more specific about the wolves because of her animal interaction ability. What's it called? Her animal handling.
That one would probably be more nature, but still.
Yeah, and remember, don't assume you know anything from other players' character sheets, unless you've seen it or asked about it. I guess she did show.
Did she notice anything else that he didn't?
I'm gonna try not to metagame this for you guys. She says, I agree with what Relian says. These wolves acted more like dogs, like pets. But if they're sending beasts out to do their scouting, maybe their numbers aren't so large.
I'm gonna ask Dune if he smells anything odd after those two have been that close to that cave and those wolves.
Do you want me to roll perception?
Yeah, let's do it. Also, you guys can always suggest a roll, but tell me like what you're trying to perceive, or do or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm at Sarah's request, seeing if they have any kind of odd smell that they got stuck in them.
Yeah. So, oh man, that's a 19. That's really high.
He's got a
Just
nose on him.
I just rolled natural 20, so I can tell you everything. The smell of the smoke isn't just wood. It smells like clothing and maybe some leather materials. are a part of that smell. And with that perception, I'm gonna say, because it would just be another perception roll. You also know that goblins rarely get rid of things because they don't craft their own things. They usually salvage everything they use. So it's strange that they would be burning usable material.
Okay. I relay all that to Sarah.
So do you think they're burning evidence, or are their bodies being burned as well, or just stuff?
I didn't really smell flesh at all. Just it's almost like the clothes from the bodies, clothes or armor, but it'd be odd for goblins to burn that. So possible it could mean there's something either smarter than your average goblin, or something that's not a goblin with them.
Well, to train wolves, they got to be smarter than a goblin.
True.
Well, should we check it out?
The cave?
What else are we gonna do? Sit around here all day?
No, we're gonna continue on our mission.
How far from town are we?
It's you've never taken the trail, so but based on projected time that was relayed to you, this was the first mistake that I told you guys. If you have a photographic memory or you listen to the recording, I had said that I switched the timetables between the roads. So the main road would have been a day to Altora. The road that you're on is 2 to 3 days to get to Aramore.
And it's been 1 day.
It's been 1 day, yeah. So you're
All right.
looking at like another day or two to Aramore.
Let's get a consensus and a pro-con. Who wants to go explore this cave?
I vote cave.
I would also vote cave because that's where Drax is. I'm convinced Drax is there.
Did Drax mention what route he was taking?
No,
He did not.
I don't think it did.
he just said he would leave at night and we should leave in the morning.
Dune, what do you think?
I'm tempted to go to the cave too, just because, especially of what I smelled on them, whatever they were burning. Something's off with this cave.
All right. Ace, do you have an opinion?
I think this is incredibly suspicious and should be investigated before we continue.
And then
Very
let's
well.
go.
We will continue to the cave.
We need to hide the cart first.
Oh,
The
it's still
cart's
pretty
hidden.
well hidden.
Yeah, it's already hidden.
Okay, so we didn't get
You
it out.
actually, you weren't there for that. You would probably not be able to find the cart right now.
I hide things good.
I wonder, you say that there was smoke coming out and that there were trained dogs coming in and out of the cave. Based off of how you looked at the cave, was there a lot of tread marks coming in and out of the cave, or did it look pretty brushed, like full of underbrush?
It was dark. The fire outside of the cave was bright. Many logs, many seats. But
How big was the... Go ahead.
But I could not see any tracks in the darkness.
No tracks. How big was the mouth of the cave? I'm asking these questions because I want to see whether or not this is something that could be housing carts that go in and out that might have materials, maybe weapons. I want to see if there's an active presence going in and out of that cave, maybe numbers.
I'm gonna put my hood over my head and say, you know what? You can ask questions all day, or we can go take a look and find out.
I want to know the answers to these questions because maybe we might
did
need to
not-
be grabbing some of the materials from the cart, like
But
the
Dune just said
explosives.
they're burning the materials.
So to answer the first question, the mouth of the cave that Brilliant and Hikage saw. Well, I'll say Hikage saw it because Brilliant could tell that the creek was coming out of the cave, but that was about the extent of the details that you could see.
Right.
But Hikage was able to see that it is a natural forming cave, and almost the entire opening was like water bound, but the water was shallow enough that the width could allow for a cart, because like a typical cart is the same width as a car today, so about
Yeah.
like 5 to 6 feet. Um, could fit, uh, but it didn't seem to be like advantageous to do so.
All right. Materials in how much of a distance is it between the cave and where we are at right now? Like how far and how long does it take to go back and forth?
By foot, 2 hours each way, based on what Hikage and Relian were able to accomplish.
Well, the attack group wasn't enormous, but it was enough to overwhelm Drax and his company. For our numbers, we were able to defend ourselves and neutralize them completely, even though they had an extra character who ended up dying, a coward. I can expect probably that there's an ample amount of goblins inside, but I don't want to underestimate them, so I want to go in prepared. Do you think we should take anything from the cart, such as the explosives, with us? Keep in mind, this cart is for Drax. This is for him, but his life is on the line, so to speak. There are materials in this cart that might save his own life. Is this something that we want to consider?
Or blow him up.
We don't know what's in there. I look around to the group to assess their opinion.
I don't want to mess with Drax's stuff.
It's a rescue mission. We need to be concerned with extraction more than the risk of taking more items. As light as possible, as quick as possible, in and out.
Yeah, I
Dane?
agree.
Alright.
I don't want to carry anything extra with us, and plus, I mean, we weren't told exactly what's in the cart, but we were told some of it's very dangerous.
Alright. Taking nothing from the cart. Let's go. Does everyone have everything?
Yes.
Yep, I have what I need.
Alright. Lead the way, Rillian. Into Kage.
I start along the path.
The ghost that walks among us. Okay, so the cart is out of the picture. Y'all want to create a quick marching order?
Oh, do we need what's it called? Owlbear?
I mean, don't worry about it. If you don't have it open, it's fine.
Do you have the code? If we're gonna keep using the same owlbear code, I can put it down. I thought it was just
Yeah, it's
thought it
just
was a different
if you go to the root owlbear.rodeo and say join and enter EB Clownin.
It looks like the URL doesn't change either, so you could just copy paste that.
EB clown.
In IN.
IN. Okay.
English proper. All right. You all stealthing up?
We'll see how that goes.
After level 5, I stop reminding you of intent. So I'm just kidding. I'm totally just reminding you.
All right, I've updated the fact channel with the link if someone needs to use it.
So the way that group checks work is as long as the majority succeed, then the group succeeds.
Okay.
Good, because some of us have disadvantage on stealth rolls.
Gotta have some weaknesses. You guys are like super friends.
Oh,
There it
we've
is.
been rolling pretty bad.
There's the one.
I rolled a 6.
Oh, stealth. Okay.
Hikage 7. There you go.
Oh my
Ace.
god. No, that's a 1. That's a
Woo!
crit fail for Hikage.
Wait, I'm supposed to roll Wait, I'm supposed to roll a disadvantage. Why did it?
It doesn't default to disadvantage. The thing
What?
there's just a reminder.
Oh, okay.
Everyone failed their self check.
Oh boy.
This is why I'm in the back.
except for Ace.
No,
No,
Ace
roll
had
the
to
seven.
roll disadvantage.
I'm wearing scale mail, so it's disadvantage.
Yeah, as am I.
I'm wearing mail as well.
So everyone failed their stealth check.
Pretty much.
This is what the DM predicted.
Oh god.
Yeah, Ace is not built for stealth.
Nor is Dune.
Or is Relian.
Nor is Athena.
Okay. No, but it's good. It's like it's something that I can play with, and I'll make sure I don't. But you all will end up learning that maybe that stealth isn't your best ally.
I'm all high on horse jerky.
Yeah, you're just getting like all of those like amino acids from that liver and heart valve, like, all the good bits. Okay, so I'm gonna say that just to push forward a bit is that you all get to the valley around, so I said 2 hours. It's like 2 hours after sun up. It's not high noon by any means. It is autumn, so I guess like it's like a later sunrise than typical. So I should probably draw like an equator on the map that I've given you guys so you understand. But you're above the equatorial line on this world, so
Wait, what? This world's not flat?
what world isn't?
World is like fucking even more three-dimensional than our
It's
world.
shattered.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
cube.
I mean,
This is some like Ford fucking Star Trek 4D chess going on.
yeah. So I'm gonna need to take a week to explain to you all how the physics work in this world.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Just write a dissertation
It's
on it,
it's
and then you can
autumn,
defend it
so
for us.
like is there still like an axial tilt that this
What kind
planet
of
is
tilt
maintaining?
does this box have?
Well, so my inspiration was that, just quick side note, is that there's theories that like the moon crashed into Earth, right? And like blew Earth up. Because like when they brought the moon rocks back, they realized the moon had like the same materials as Earth, but
Yeah.
some different. And so there's the big theory that like it was like a maybe a rogue planet that came in and maybe from like the asteroid belt and smashed into Earth and fractured Earth, and then Earth reformed under its own gravity. So I'm going with that. It's possible. NASA told me so. But they keep saying our Earth's a sphere too, so who knows who to believe.
Myers, fake news.
Not a sphere, it's an oblate spheroid, or whatever the fuck they keep calling it.
It's a dodecahedron.
It's a plate spinning on God's broom.
D12. The
It's-
world is a D12.
Yo.
Okay, now that we got all the physics out of the way and completely understood, but also magic, so you know, sprinkle that on top. And divine powers and old gods. So you get to the valley, and
I think once we get closer to the cave, we need to switch up the marching orders. But just when we reach the cave, or as we're approaching it.
two wolves come out of the bushes near you, and they they haunch up, and the hair stands on the back up on their backs, and they start growling. I should know this by now. I swear I'll memorize this. Sorry. The highest passive perception is, oh god, it's Hikage. Okay, so I noticed. I'll just say Hikage quickly mentions it to the group. These dogs seem abused and more scared. So they're like scared aggressive. I'm also gonna piggyback on her +4 to animal handling that's a part of her being able to discern this as well.
So they're not trying to attack us. They're just scared.
They seem to have a general state of fear about them. And as she says this, you all notice that like there's like scars and like missing parts of their pelt, and they seem famished. Like you can see like their rib lines even like through their abdominal fur. They are not healthy looking beasts at all.
I take the remaining horse meat I have. I toss it on the ground for them.
Okay, give me very give me an animal handling check with advantage.
Can hear the cheering.
Nice.
16.
That'll do. You needed a 15. So, at first the wolves stand back, and they're growling, and then as soon as the meat hits the ground, you see their noses perk up, and the fur starts to lay down on the back. One of them snips at the other one and quickly goes for the meat and takes it, and the other one starts growling at the one that took the meat, and then starts growling at you, Relian.
Does one of them appear to be like a leader, then one a follower?
Give me a perception check.
Nine, 11.
Yeah, you just need a 10. So the one that took the meat definitely seems like the leader, and the one that's growling seems to be more pissed just about not getting the meat. But they don't seem like they're aggressive towards you anymore through this act of kindness.
Hmm. Well, I'm all out of meat. I ate my hares this morning. And
Can I use healing hands on the one that didn't get the meat?
Yeah, let's say you can. Why not? Play it out.
How does this work in here again? I don't remember.
So
Ones.
that's the one that's your class
Race.
ability or race ability. That's right.
Mhm.
So it gains like 2 hit points. So yeah, so like hit points are like a loose construct, right? Like
Mhm.
like I've even like heard people call them hero points instead of hit points because it's more like your fortitude or your willingness to continue. Like that's kind of how I like it best because then I don't have to think about it as like actual wounds that you sustain. You're not Bruce Willis in Die Hard, right? Where you're walking on glass while you have like 6 bullets in your abdomen and still able to like
Well, then I would
sentences.
just crouch to the wolf that didn't get the meat and approach it and see if it lets me pet it. Help it get some health without food.
So I'll say it snips at you, but you're able to like quickly move your hand in like to like its like the tuft of its neck and give it its touch, and it you can almost feel like its neck muscles relax as you do this. And it gives you like one lick on your wrist, and kind of backs away, as does the other as it's finished the meat, and they both kind of they walk back into the thicket and just like disappear into the woods or into like the nearby vegetation.
So I don't think we need to worry about these guys anymore. I say to the party.
Relian, are these the same wolves that you saw before when you approached this cave for the first time?
hard to
Do
say,
they seem
but
hard to
they
say?
acted the same. They acted trained. We're close. We must be diligent as we approach.
Are these animals something that would accept a leash? Like, is that something that we can... I'm afraid once we approach the cave, there's going to be a whistle and they're going to just switch. They're going to go from happy that you're giving them scraps to like instinct takes over and they will bite the hand.
Oh yeah,
Because fear is going to override.
give me an insight check. See if you can use that.
Okay. It's probably not going to be too hot. 13.
Good enough.
Oh, nice.
You get a read. Do you want to give us give us a snippet into why you understand that these animals won't turn their back on you going forward?
You talking to me or to Relian?
To Athena, like maybe like an experience that you had similar to this that would.
I've worked
Right.
with guard dogs. I've worked with trained dogs, dogs that help me with my job. And there's a difference between wild dogs and trained dogs. You can come up to a dog that has a very strict owner, and you can feed that dog, and it will lick your hand. But the minute its owner comes up, who has instilled training into this animal. It has instilled years of instinctual reactions into this animal and does any type of motion that is for a trained response, you've lost loyalty. Unless you can prove yourself to override that animal's training. That's my experience with the animals like this. We're in the wild. I'm sure this is not an expertly trained animal, but instinct is instinct.
Well, and I would argue with Athena. I would say these dogs are abused. They're starving. They have scars. Their hair is falling off. These are not trained, cared for dogs. These are abused beasts.
Yes, and that's also my point. They will bite the hand if they're scared.
They will bite the hand that abuses them before the hand that helped them.
We must approach cautiously. We can't count for or against the dogs.
So we're not going to tie up the dogs.
The dogs already ran away.
All right. Then let's continue. Wait, what is my insight? You said it was a successful insight.
Yeah, so you successfully deduced that the dogs won't harm.
Okay.
Us.
They won't
All right.
harm you. Yeah. You showed them compassion that they haven't had.
How far from the cave are we?
You can see the cave because you've like just kind of come. I think this is what I said. You just had just come into the valley, into the meadow, and the cave is about 200 feet up at the top of the meadow, and you can kind of see it because you can follow with your eye where the creek goes up to the cliffside. You can't necessarily discern where the cave entrance is at this distance and this pitch, but you, especially you, Relian, like because you were here last night, like you know exactly where it is. As does Hikage.
As we approach, I suggest that we change our marching orders and have those with stronger armor in front, and at least one with night vision with the front group.
I'll go with the front group.
I can go with the front as well.
All right, Dune and Seraphina in the front. I'll be in the mid with Hikage.
I will likely be in the front too. I always try to stay up in the pack.
Mm-hmm.
Rillian's armor is he's pretty
He's not
armored up, right?
I have a
wearing armor, but
yeah, I have a high armor class.
Okay. Well, at least there's that.
He isn't armored, but he's hard to hit.
All right.
And he has a bard with him.
So
Right.
me, Sarah, and Dune up
yeah,
front.
Dune's up here too.
Hikage and Athena in the middle, and Ace. Are you still holding up the end?
He's holding up our butts.
Yes, I will continue to watch everyone's back.
So as we approach the cave, I've got my warhammer out, starting to anticipate every encounter. I get about 15 feet away from the cave, and as the group approaches, I stop and I listen. I close my eyes and I listen intently to see if I can hear any sounds coming from the cave.
I'm gonna poke Dune a little bit and say, dude, can you smell anything? You smell the same shit that was on them?
Can I check?
Yes. And Rillian, give me a perception check as well. There we go. There we go. So, Relian, you, over the babble of the creek coming down the corridor and the rush of air, I don't know if that, it's a very unique sound. If you've ever like been outside of a cave that water is coming out of, it kind of has like this like this inhale sound, like as if you're like inside the inhalation. But beyond that, with your 22, you're able to discern. You hear a solitary yelp from a wolf, and a subtle creaking of a wood structure. A few rocks tumbling down an unseen cliffside. And a nasally voice, not mine, screech out, "Tang!" Dune.
Is Raylian the only one that hears this?
Yeah, he's like actively like up front listening to the cave. Dune, you close your eyes and let your olfactory senses take control. You sense directly to your right, to the north, that strong odor of burning cloth and leather. You can hear this, like the occasional crackle and pop of a fire that is trying to extinguish itself from the night prior. But you also get some other pungent smells coming down this creek. Rancid meat, body odors, and wolf. And because that's a 20,
Mine wasn't a natural 20. That's a modified 20.
yeah, I know. +1. So you got a natural 19. That's still like really high. The challenge rating was like 10, so it's fine.
Yeah.
The one extra thing that I'll give you is you think you smell human. Maybe even female human.
Okay. I'll let Sarah know all this because she specifically asked.
Yeah, I'm gonna poke him because he looks like he smelled something weird. I'm like, what? What's up, dude? What the hell?
I also relay my auditory clues that I gave to Sarah and Dune.
Female. It's Drax's other protector. We need to keep going towards that voice.
Yeah.
I think that's Gonk, maybe.
I look for a large rock near this cliffside that as we approach the cave. I motion everybody to shuffle to the side as I toss it into the river and make a large plonking sound.
Into the cave or outside of the cave?
Into the river outside on the mouth of the cave.
Okay. As you do so, you hear 3 yelps from a single wolf's voice. You can tell that it's from a single wolf. come from probably. It's hard to tell. The sound is reverberating throughout the cave system, so it's really hard to get a distinct read on it. But it's not far from within the cave.
I say we keep moving toward it.
How does this cave appear? Like, is this like a wide cave? Are we cramped?
Yeah, so the cave formation seems to be geographically recent, right? Probably a result of the wrath that was opened up. The water itself is extremely cold, which is strange for being such a low land water source. So you would presume that it's like a spring well, right? That it's coming from further within the ground. The opening itself, because it's recent, there's very little like moss or lichen growing on the rock itself, and it's also exposed a bunch of like strata. So it's a beautiful cave. As like the sunlight, the morning sunlight peeks over it and starts to illuminate it, you can see that there's like almost every single color of brown and red represented in this strata formation. The opening itself is about 10 feet wide, at least at this point, and it's on a subtle incline up into the cave system itself, giving it the gravity of the water being able to come through. There's washout of rocks that seems like it might assume that there are different intervals of water force that comes through it. Beyond the opening to the cave itself, which is almost like I guess like if you were to step back from it, it'd be like roughly a triangle shape, right? But beyond where the sunlight is reaching within, it's just utter darkness. Don't get me describing things. I might need to stop.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It paints it for us.
I love it.
As I approach the mouth of the cave, knowing that the sounds came from not too far within it, I suggest that we cast light on one of my javelins and I throw it as far as I can.
I can cast light on one of his javelins. Wait, I'm muted. No, I'm not muted.
We got you. What's the distance on your javelin? Is it like 80 feet?
30. 30, 120? What's that mean?
So long range, short range. At long range, anything beyond 30 up to 120 is with disadvantage. So if you're not throwing it at a specific point, you can throw it up to 120 feet.
Okay, I'm throwing it up to 120 feet, but I'm throwing it straight into the cave. So ignoring all cave patterns, but it could bounce, I assume.
Yep.
Okay.
So your javelin illuminated. Oh, and the light. It's going to be based on the that's the range of the light, because it will get out of.
It's a 20-foot radius.
But it also illuminates everything as it goes, because it's a throw. So it goes in, it illuminates. We may catch a glimpse of something as it goes.
Very, very sneaky.
Well, it doesn't say there's a range that the caster has to be within the spell.
Yeah, I think it's just concentration.
It's touch or 20 feet. You know, touch. I just have to be able to touch his javelin, and then the javelin will have a 20-foot light radius.
It doesn't even have concentration.
Yeah, it's a cantrip for me. No, it's a cantrip, man.
I know.
I'm
It's
just
one of
barding over here.
it's one of the most used spells I think in this game ever. Like if you had stats for every spell that was cast, I'm sure light and magic missile are like the top. Okay, so your javelin just with like you all watch as Rillian like crouches down, looking like an Olympiad javelin thrower, braces himself against like a close rock, and then just lunges the javelin into the crevasse. It immediately starts pinging off of the walls, but the aerodynamic nature of it kind of keeps its trajectory true down into the opening. And it lands, or rather, it hits a wall, and you can still see straight into the cave. Like this part of the cave it's kind of like it, because it's naturally formed. It does have like a natural like sine wave aspect to it, but it doesn't like veer until where the javelin hits, where it's a clear Y in the path. And the javelin itself falls and rests on an embankment at that Y, where the creek goes one way to your right, and the embankment is to the left, up ahead of you. All the while, as like shortly within the cave, as you watch the javelin go in, there is a walkable embankment that follows the creek to the right.
I suggest we move up the embankment, knowing that the path that leads to my javelin is clear
To the right?
on the embankment. Yeah,
I agree.
Dune.
I agree too.
Yeah.
Do we reform at this point? I mean, we have 6 of us. What, going that far into the cave, it'd be best to do it as a group of 6.
Yeah, so the embankment itself is only about 5 feet wide as you're going in. So at this point, you're going to have to go single file unless somebody wants to walk within the water. And then you can have 10 feet of earth width.
I'll walk in the water.
Did the javelin throw attract any attention?
Not to your eye.
Or ear?
Or ear, yeah, you don't immediately notice anything.
Are we all at the javelin now?
As you're walking up to the javelin, the embankment has a set of, they're not stairs, but it's like a ramp up that goes into a cavern to your right. Or you can continue going straight down, following the river, up to the javelin. And I'll give you something else. You hear a growl and a rattle of bars, a bestial growl up the natural ramp to the right of the javelin. And I see the time. We'll wrap it up. We'll wait if it's okay to wait for like a specific moment here.
I was like, oh damn, we're running out of time. It's getting good.
I want to see what you guys do.
It's getting good.
Another 3 hours.
Yes.
As Nettie falls
I
asleep.
ain't got no job. I ain't got shit to do.
Relian will fall asleep in his chair. Guaranteed.
This is why, like,
And you cannot wake him up. It's impossible.
the best D&D or RP sessions I've ever had are like cabin trips where it's like 8 hours straight, and because you forget who you actually are.
I am no one.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
The natural ramp to the right.
I want to go towards the wolf. It
We don't know where the wolf
Sounds-
is. We heard a bestial growl. We don't know.
It
if
sounds
it's
like it sounds like a wolf.
The alleged wolf.
Yeah.
I would like to
Alleged.
go towards the alleged wolf. If we can turn this person's wolves against it.
I mean, what if we check? Is the pathway dirt?
It's stone. It's like water carved stone.
All right, and then
So I recommend to the group, stealth has not been our friend so far. Let's make as much noise
Leroy. Let's go.
and try to be as intimidating
Leroy
as possible
Jenkins!
as we, the 6 of us, approach and go up this ramp.
So, Relian, do you want to tell them a story
What's
about
the worst
first
that could happen?
when you were a young boy and you approached a bear for the first time?
When I was young, in our mountains, we approached this large bear cave of this mountainous bear. It was terrifying. We knew the bear had killed many of our clan members, but there were many of us. So instead of trying to sneak up on the bear, we all clanked our axes against the metal inside the cave. As we approached, the bear, not knowing what to do, reared up on its hind legs, slipping on the loose moss within this cave. It ended up falling backwards, and we all pounced upon it, hitting it as many times as possible, successfully killing the bear. Bear fed our tribe for many months.
Serafina is incredibly inspired by this, and she's like, "Yes, I'm in."
I
She
kind of
grabs
say
her
like,
drum. Let's go.
no, that's definitely a thing. Some animals are more intimidated by loud noises, so that makes sense.
Athena doesn't try to calm Relian down.
Who's coming with us, man?
I'll go with.
Okay, so yeah, so you guys are all in agreement. You're going up into the towards the bestial sound, wolf sound.
Yep.
The ramp goes up and leads into the first thing that, especially Dune, you sense this immediately, probably even before you went up, is just the dank smell of animals that have lived here for probably upwards of 6 to 12 months, with very little cleaning. It's pretty disgusting. There's bones scattered about and feces, and it's a kind of a nightmare of a place. You see 2 cages to your left, made out of like makeshift found metals and even bone in place, to keep the cage intact, which is built into the cave wall. 2 cages that are empty. And then on to your right, there's 1 cage that is occupied by a wolf that looks very similar to the 2 that you just interacted with about 10 minutes ago.
But it's caged.
But it's caged. And it's growling. It's growling and irate, but it's not barking or yelping or howling.
Do we want to try to calm it down? I'm afraid it's going to attract people to our location.
I mean, isn't our goal to attract people to our location?
Well,
Yeah.
I think we'd be stealthy as long as we can get away with it.
Well, that's the thing. We approach this non-stealthily. We're just trying
Yeah.
to be intimidating, not stealthy. Because, I mean, up to this point, stealth is not worked for us. And we're a group of 6 very large people in a cave. I think intimidation was our best act, and that's
All right.
how we went in.
I want to cast Bardic Inspiration on Raelian in case something goes wrong.
Relian.
Rulian.
Ragelian.
Depending how this encounter goes.
Okay, so you're approaching the wolf and attempting to.
Set it free.
Okay. I'm gonna say we stop there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm confused. Are we still playing, or did we end like 10 minutes ago?
What do you mean?
We're still playing. Where were you?
He's been AFK.
I thought I heard Gray said we were gonna stop there at like 5 or 6 minutes ago.
Oh, sorry, I was waiting for a moment to stop, and now I'm saying
Oh,
this is the
okay.
moment because it's based on a die roll. What's gonna happen? Whether.
Oh my god, 2 weeks.
Dun dun dun.
2 weeks. Total Recall, anybody?
Oh yeah, so just confirming, no one's available on the same date next week. Let's first check Friday.
We're all out on the 8th and 9th.
On the 8th, 9th? Okay. Alright, so what about, let's look at this. I thought I remember someone saying something about being occupied on the 15th or the 16th.
16th is a memorial for me.
Alright, so 15th, same time. How is everyone?
I'm going to
With
stop.
that